Фух, все работает, найс. Наконец-то, блин. Заработал нормально, так. Потратил на это дофига времени. История. И ради чего я столько времени тратил? Ради того, чтобы правильно настроить все это. На обычной. И блин, АБС-ка поломалась. Что не очень хорошо было. Ладно, вроде сделал. Самое главное, что сделал.
Don't I know you, sir?
Don't believe so. I haven't been here in many years.
Да.
Name's Silas Greaves.
Silas Greaves? The bounty hunter?
Used to be.
Ah, well, what are you doing here in Abilene?
Just passing through. Got a little business to take care of.
Well, sir, it would be an honor if you would allow me to buy you a beer.
Hell, son, it would be my honor to drink it.
I'm Molly. Howdy.
I'm Dwight. That's Jack and Steve. Ben's behind the bar. Oh, I bet you got some great stories.
A couple.
Any of them true?
Jack, be nice.
A few.
What about your shootout with Henry Plummer's gang in Bannock, Montana? Is that where you started as a bounty hunter? That's what it says in this here dime novel.
Don't believe everything you read in them dime novels, boy. First man I hunted was back when I was riding with Billy the Kid.
You knew Billy the Kid?
Damn right. That scrawny son of a bitch had no fear. Wouldn't back down for nobody.
I heard he collected the 10 stars off any crooked lawman who crossed him.
It was a war, boy. The Lincoln County War. And Billy promised his regulators would take the life of every bastard who helped bushwhack John Tunstall.
Kid had a big chip on his shoulder and a hair-trigger temper. Made him dangerous as hell.
Озвучка английская, найс. Ну ладно. Подумаешь. Субтитры есть, почитайте. Не привыкать к некоторым людям. Еще загрузка, все еще ладно. Теперь еще полчаса загрузку ждать. А нет, все нормально. Начинаем.
It was about 30 years ago. Billy was hiding out in an abandoned farm near Stinking Springs.
Вау.
I threw in with the kid because the man I had sworn vengeance on was riding with Billy's enemies. But before I tell you why I want that sumbitch dead, let me tell you what happened that day. I was heading back to the hideout when suddenly I had this funny feeling.
Funny, haha?
No, Steve. The other kind of funny.
Да уж. Непривычно как-то. Отображение. Ну-ка, если это я включу. О, вот так лучше. Потому что все же знать, куда идти я хочу. Блин, нарисовка такая классная. Глазу приятно. Вернитесь в убежище. Да, да, иду. Возвращаюсь, возвращаюсь. Привет, Дерму.
That's not fair.
Перевода нету, странно. Я же вроде бы включил субтитры на русский. Очень странно. Привет, привет. Ладно.
We're missing all the fun.
I knew those two morons would never let me through. I had no choice. What the hell? Shoot that sumbitch!
Опа, вы зарабатываете опыт в добро. Необходимо на переход это. О, да, сейчас на ПК. Вечером
Was
будет
it
стрим
Pat
по танкам.
Garrett's posse?
Oh, yeah. I heard the shots and I knew I had to move fast.
Вечерком будут танки.
Garrett and his army of deputies had surrounded the entire
Потому что
homestead.
ивент.
They're coming from the rear! I decided to help Billy and the boys out a bit. So that's just what I did. As the governor of New Mexico was paying for the kid's apprehension, Garrett was able to hire every gun hand in Lincoln County.
На ПКшке. Или ты про что сейчас? Ау.
I knew that going through that front door meant putting my butt in a shooting gallery, so I decided to get sneaky.
Война в графстве Линкольн. Ясно, ну, можно же. Посмотрели и хватит. Опа, новый уровень. Традиционный категории стрелок. Так. Чтобы выбрать. Либо два ствола, либо через винтовку играть, либо через ближний бой. Кого будем отыгрывать? Стрелка, рейнджера, зверолова. Дермув, тебе выбор даю. Вроде бы ты только на стриме. Конечно, сейчас схожу по другим стримам, проведаюсь. Может, кто-то еще где-то есть. Но вроде бы никого нигде нет больше. Так что вот. Выбирай, в кого мы пойдем. Куда мы будем качаться. Если ты все еще на стриме. Потому что я стрим сейчас не могу никак чекать. Кто из людей есть на стриме. Ну, вроде бы ты на стриме, ибо ник отображается. Ну, если ник отображается, значит ты на стриме же, да? Нет, да, нет. Приветствую, старты. Кого выбрать, блин? В танки на ПК играешь, о. А я вот дал тебе выбор, кого выбрать. У нас есть 3 выбора прокачки. За браком может тоже поучаствовать. Куда пойдем? В какую прокачку? Выбор прокачки, давай. Худы качаться. Стрелка с 2 стволами, то есть с пистолетами. Меткий стрелок на больших расстояниях, либо ближний бой. Ближний бой это дробовик-пистолет. Рейнджер это пистолет-винтовка. Стрелок это 2 пистолета. Выбор. Куда идти? В какую качаться сторону? Так что я тебя позвал, раз ты тут рядом был. Под боком. Ты же тут под боком был, вот. Я тебя призвал. Ой, ё-моё. И зачем спать днем? Хоть кто-нибудь скажите уже, куда качнуться. Выбор даю вам, а вы молчите. Что? Спал? Рейнджер? Ну, рейнджер так рейнджер. Орлиный глаз. Ну, короче, значит будем качаться в рейнджера. Значит, будем полностью изучать рейнджера. Окей. Конечно, можно было качнуться здесь, что здесь стрельба из 2 рук. А тут у нас броня. Ну, короче, понятно все. Будем в рейнджера качаться полностью.
Garrett's men were running around like a bunch of chickens with their heads cut off. Still, one of them reached the water tower.
Оу.
Not a bad idea. It would be a turkey
Ow.
shoot from up there.
Я прям под снайпером. Снайпером буду. Ау. В голову. Да, снайпер из меня на такой неудобной постилке. Очко навыков. Сразу же. А, ясно, я навык не качнул. Мне навыки слетели, кайф. Ладно. Блин, красивая игра. Мне рисовка нравится. Как будто в комиксы попал какие-то.
A lot of them were saddle tramps or sod busters or drunken drifters looking to make a few bucks.
Нет, ну не уходи. Зачем тебе это гулять?
I heard a friendly voice yelling at me from the window. Back door! We'll cover you!
Start aiming, you idiots!
Truth be told, things weren't much better behind the house. I cut their numbers in half. But that just made the ones that were left twice as mad. They made up for their lack of skill with a seemingly endless supply of ammo.
В голову без совпадений. Кайф.
It was a bit of a slog, but I finally fought my way around the back of the house. And like that, I was inside, none the worse for wear. I passed Dirty Dave.
A rat in a trap!
And upstairs, I found Billy and Charlie Bowdry.
How about that? Huh? You like that?
А что такое? Сиди, смотри. Привет, Миха. Сиди с нами. Что тебе?
Billy looked at me and said, "About time, amigo. Grab a gun and get to the window."
Wait, so you were friends with Billy the Kid?
Yeah, sort of. Anyway, we were surrounded by dozens of deputized shooters who wanted to do us harm.
Worth $500.
I'm telling you, Garrett's men were dropping like flies, but they just kept on coming.
Найс. Читать эти субтитры не успеваю, потому что вон, что происходит. Так что сорян.
That's when Charlie got hit. "They're catching us in a crossfire," shouted Billy. "Get to the other side."
Да. Отстреливаемся.
I don't know how many of those cocksuckers I personally put down, but it was pretty clear,
Reflex.
even to Billy, that maybe discretion was the better part of valor.
What's that mean?
It means that it was time to cut and run. They got a gun, Billy shouted. "Get the horses and bring them round back. I'll draw their attention."
Ow.
He directed that order at me, and I thought, why the hell do I have to do it? But I went anyway. Dumbass that I was back then.
Что выбить дверь?
Those poor sons of bitches are done for!
Many would have fled in my place. But I had that false sense of invincibility that many young men have.
Пога.
Like Jack here.
Твердые давай. Звоним фиксирование. Пожалуй, возьму это. Больше
What are you
патронов.
saying, old man?
Jack, he's just joshing with you.
Yeah, he better be.
Mr. Greaves, please continue.
Please, call me Silas, ma'am. Now, where was I?
You were heading for the barn.
Так, так, так.
I'm gonna cut you, boy!
А,
Don't let that asshole get away with this! What are you gonna do?
Right. Making my way past a massive fallen foe.
Ха.
Sounds like Garrett hired a whole regiment of hired guns.
Yeah, and just when I thought I was done with them, more of these hapless bastards would pop up.
Бум.
Finally, I had the stables within my reach.
Бум. Headshot.
And that's when I met Sheriff Pat Garrett.
I read that you went toe-to-toe with him, sir. That backstabbing bastard with that tacked-on tin star. Challenged him to a showdown.
You read that in a dime novel?
It said he showed no fear as he took your measure with eyes like a rattlesnake.
Спорт, чтобы следить за противником, пробел. Ух.
And that you killed him in a fair fight.
Is that what that Penny Dreadful said? No, boy. That ain't what I meant when I said I met Pat Garrett. So let me start again. I finally reached those damn stables. And stepped inside, and bam! Last thing I heard was Garrett's voice. That's not Billy.
And go on. How did it end?
And, boy, that was just the beginning.
So what happened? Did Garrett arrest you?
Yeah, after I came to, the bastard had clocked me with his Colt.
And the kid surrendered?
When he realized there was no getting out of there alive,
So they locked you up in Lincoln?
indeed they did. Sentenced me to hang right along with the kid.
Нет, я говорю, я же получил военный билет. По другой причине получил его. Я получил военный билет по другой причине. Я не годен в армию. Уже об этом было сказано.
It's important to know that I was only riding with Billy so I could find the bastard I was after. He was with John Kinney's gang, and they were sworn enemies of Billy's regulators.
Why were you after him?
I owed that son of a bitch a bullet for what he had done to me and mine. Instead, all I got for myself was a goddamn death sentence. Luckily, it was right around then that I heard Billy make his move. He shot Jim Bell and a few other guards as he made his getaway. Later, they wrote that some lady friend planted a pistol for him in the privy. What the papers didn't say is that Billy helped me escape too.
Опа,
My
один
first
ключ.
order of business was finding a firearm.
Приветствую. Блин, нарисовка приятная. Рисовка прям приятная. Кто-то что-то уронил.
Luckily, I located Deputy Bob Ollinger's mean-ass shotgun.
Как я тебе скину ссылку, если это не на телефон игра? Это игра на ПКшку. И название игры указано на названии стрима.
I saw Billy through the window, and he yelled that I should take to the rooftops to make my escape. So I did.
Anybody see Billy? Son of a bitch shot Jim Bell!
Hell yeah. That scatter gun was like a double-barreled howitzer. It could blow a man clear off his feet. You hardly had to aim at that. The kid's escape raised a huge ruckus. Guards were everywhere looking for him.
Can't let the kid get away! Anybody see him?
I had to jump from roof to roof like a damn alley cat. I followed the planks where I could. Some of that wood was slippery as hell. The whole town was up in arms. And suddenly, I was a fugitive.
Да, мне
So
повезло.
that bastard you were after, what did he do?
He did me and my family a grievous harm. But I knew if I was ever going to find him, I would need to get my ever-loving ass out of there. I tried to be and sneak my way past.
32 патрона.
But hell, if they weren't all waiting for me. Apparently, some of them thought I was Billy.
Попал.
See, me and the kid shared a certain similarity in build and coloring. I was just glad I had Deputy Bob's mean-ass shotgun.
They're shooting in the street! Damn ears are ringing!
Кайфуем. Сегодня мы с тобой
So much lead was
кайфуем.
whizzing by my head, it was like everyone in Lincoln wanted to put me in the ground. I knew I needed to find a horse. Though I never did have a great fondness for those four-legged grass eaters. Smelly, sweaty, ungrateful beasts. They prize them too high, if you ask me.
Блин. Тяжело. Ладно. Новый уровень. Так. Приветствую, Алекс. Плюс 30 скорости, плюс 15 прицеливанию. Быстрый ствол, гренадер. Ну, вообще кайф. Игра кайфовая, самое главное. Сидишь, настреливаешь всех и вся. Уровень, прокачка. Куда захочешь.
lives of innocent.
Жалко, что людей нема. Не с кем поговорить. Куда? Сюда?
But where was the kid while you were busy getting shot at?
Gone. And that's when it occurred to me why Billy set me free. Take it! So I could be a hapless decoy and draw attention while he snuck out of town.
Минус щитоносец, блин. С дверью.
I knew if I made it out of there in one piece, no one could put a price on my head.
Because everybody in Lincoln would be dead?
No, because they all thought I was Billy. And all that blame would fall on him.
Боже, блин.
Meanwhile, Deputy Bob Ollinger was organizing a posse to put me down. He was already a mean son of a bitch, but he was doubly pissed that I stole his mean-ass shotgun. Anyway, it was me or them. The only way forward led me straight to perdition. But the cards were dealt, and I had no choice but to play them.
Get the women off the street! Don't let them get away! Arm yourselves! Did he get away? I'll flank it! We're gonna be in shit when I get back.
Боже, блин.
We can take him. Stop him! Surrender yourself!
Да. Ну я и стрелок.
Finally,
Ну
I
и только
found what
нет.
I was looking for. The stables on the edge of town.
I guess Billy saved your ass, taking out Bob Ollinger the way he did.
Billy didn't kill Bob.
Well, sure he did. He dispatched him right after he shot
No,
Deputy Bell.
sir. Because Bob came right up behind me, angry as hell that Billy had lit out. Hello, Bob, I said. I think you better let me go. And he says, I don't think so, boy. Not with my shotgun. So we stood there in the middle of the street, eyeball to eyeball. He intended to kill me, and I knew I had no choice but to defend myself. I killed him in a fair fight. Everybody saw I had no damn choice.
Ну, привет.
Well, Lincoln got a mite depopulated that day. Pat Garrett gunned down Billy 3 months later, so his escape was all for naught anyway.
Так сосредоточен на игре, блин. Ладно.
So where'd you go after Lincoln?
Mexico. Until I realized nobody was looking for me.
Лучшие серии
I ended up
Juarez.
taking a job at the Rurales.
The Mexican Rurales?
I was hired to help them track down the cowboys.
Ну, я уже проходил Bond to Bond.
The most vicious outlaw gang in Cochise County? Curly Bill Brocious? Johnny Ringo?
Led by old man Clanton himself.
They must have paid you a pretty penny to take them hombres on.
Not really. But truth be told, I had my own reasons for going after those boys.
Дан-да-дан-дан-дан. Тут никого, на ютубчик загляну. Может, на ютубчике кто есть. На ютубчике также никого. Ну, привет, Андрей, блин. Привет, Андрей. Да-да-да. Привет, Андрей. Где ж ты? Но меня схорони. Чё мне песни всякие вспоминаются дурацкие? Тудун, тудун. Ну все, можно начинать. О,
So was the
винтовочка.
bastard you were after now riding with the cowboys?
Roscoe Bob Bryant was his name.
Oh.
But no, this time it was a different bastard I was after. The aforementioned Mr. Ringo. And yes, he was working for old man Clanton.
Да, из-за того, что озвучки нету,
I came
приходится.
upon them robbing a stagecoach, which wasn't surprising, being they were such murderous thieves and bastards. The bandits wore red scarves, so I knew they worked for the old man. Over there! I did my best to help those poor passengers. Moments later, the attackers were dead, and I checked the stagecoach to see how many passengers were still breathing. None. It was then I wondered if the rocks weren't hiding more bandits. Was that all, or did I just hit the rear guard? I quickly got my answer. They attacked from on high like Apaches often did.
Ой. Ой-ой-ой. Не туды я нажал. Отвлекся на чатик.
They would appear in great numbers from above and rain down lead on their hapless enemies' heads, making use of the high ground and whatever else they had. Yep, the Apaches always appeared out of nowhere, and there never seemed to be an end to them.
Hold on. Were you attacked by Apaches? What happened to the cowboys?
Did I say they were Apache? I said Clanton's cowboys attacked me Apache style. I was in a pitched battle, but I was holding my own against an overwhelming enemy force. See, at the time, I was still pretty green and would often blunder into regrettable situations. But I just kept shooting at anything I could see up in those damn rocks. I didn't see Ringo, but I knew he was with the cowboys. He and Roscoe Bob had done me a dreadful wrong, and I was determined to have my revenge. But to get to Ringo, I knew I'd have to fight my way past these other assholes first.
ПРСТ. Со всех сторон палят.
Unfortunately, I was running out of ammo. Another perfect example of my relative inexperience as a hunter of men. I immediately knew that a tactical retreat was called for, as my vengeful fury was much less impressive without the bullets to back it up. Finally, they managed to corner me. Trapped as I was, the odds of my survival seemed pretty slim.
Слишком сложно.
Serendipity was on my side as I suddenly spotted a way out of my predicament.
Stand and fight, you coward!
I ran ahead as if the devil himself was after me.
За
Bullets
тобой
were
и так
whizzing
сам
by
дьявол.
my ears, but I wasn't about to roll
За
over
тобой и так
and die.
гонится дьявол,
I
видишь,
just
людей.
kept running like there was no tomorrow.
Еще и
Because there
попадает.
wouldn't be if Clanton and his men caught up with me.
Так, новый уровень.
As I was scurrying around those caves, I thought, what was I thinking? Going up against a gang like this.
You're done!
I just kept running, not knowing where the hell I was going. And that's when something miraculous happened. Like manna from heaven, I found the desiccated remains of what looked like an Apache warrior. The old weapon next to him supplied me with some much-needed ammunition. That Masterson once told me it was more important to be lucky than good, and he would know. Imagine
Ей.
my surprise when I found a fistful of dynamite to go along with that ammo. That stroke of good fortune evened the odds and bolstered my confidence. It was time to turn the tables. Time for the prey to become the predator. Time for the hunted to become the hunter. Time.
All right, Jesus, we get it. They were right where you wanted them.
That's right, Jack. I was done running. And the old man's boys were
От меня
not
никто не
expecting that.
убежит, все будут
No,
наказаны.
sir.
И я умер. Отвлекся на чатик опять. Как умереть? У меня, ну, скорее всего, это связано с тем, что я просто не нашел удобное место для игры. Я играю сейчас на кровати, у меня нет ни коврика, ничего. Плюс еще это ноут. И последний раз, когда я играл, наверное, в эту игру... Ой, в эту игру, блин, вообще играл на ПКшке, это давно было. Я уже отвык ко всему этому. Если не сравнить только вот стримы как раз таки. Так. Плюс я еще отвлекаюсь на чаты. У меня 4 чата. Помимо Твича. Типа, и поглядываю на чаты через телефон. То есть не надо отворачивать голову, чтобы увидеть, что происходит.
I came at them like a wildcat. My fury knew no bounds.
Нет, не сбивается, жалко. Так.
It was finally time for that old man to pay for his sins.
Как его достать, этот самородок? Вижу его, но не могу достать. Да. Старик Квентон. Помянем. А
I
можно
yelled
не
out at
надо.
the top of my lungs. Clanton, I'm coming for you! A little stealth might have made more sense, to be perfectly honest. Because that old fool had a Gatling gun and enough bullets to last him till Kingdom Come. But I knew I could not let that deter me. Not if I was to find and kill Ringo. I needed to get that old man off that gun.
Тихо. Не умирай. Рейд умер. О-о-о-о-о-о. Тихо. Тут у меня и так веселье, а ты еще пишешь про модера, ты шо? Ради модера сюда заходишь? Ясно, понятно, с вами. Месье Прецана.
Most everyone thought it was the Ruales who had come up against him in Guadalupe Canyon. But it was just me.
Не, я лучший фанат. И сразу же и поэтому попросить модера. Так. Ды. Поздравляю. А я буду это... Сегодня в Майнкрафте не будет. Сегодня будет только танки вечером. Потому что это... Из-за того, что... Блин. Из-за того, что ивент начался на танк 8 уровня, буду сегодня только танки гамать. Ни за что ни про что кинули бомбу, блин. Ё-моё, блин. Пробежали.
Show yourself! Fight, you goddamn fucker! Damn contraption, damn to death! I don't know how you live this long.
Apparently, one of the cowboys made it out of there alive and told Ike and Billy Clanton that it wasn't a Mexican who took their father's life that day. They just assumed it was one of the Earps, and that little misunderstanding eventually led to that legendary gunfight at the OK Corral.
Yes. Пройдено. Сегодня никак не выйдет новая часть игры. Скорее всего, вот это как бы, по идее, это первая часть только игры. По идее, надо с нее начинать играть, как бы. А потом уже идет по увеличению, типа потом узы крови, и третья часть как раз таки картель. Но я начал в итоге наоборот, с картеля. То есть сначала прошел картель, потом прошел узы крови, а потом прошел вот эту сейчас. То есть я как-то неправильно прохожу игру. Я ее наоборот вроде прохожу. Если я правильно понял по выходам, да, там, я просто не гуглил, но судил я по графике. Потому что тут у меня на максималочках все тянется. Выставил он мне все сразу же. В отличие от тех других двух. И здесь как раз таки нет русской озвучки. Что должно как бы намекать на то, что...
A few weeks after that dust-up at the OK Corral, I was still after Johnny Ringo. I had tracked him and the cowboys to their hideout at a sawmill, and they were loaded for bear.
Патронов нет, ничего нет.
What exactly did Johnny Ringo do to piss you off?
Well, him and that other bastard.
Roscoe Bob Bryant?
Yep. They both deserve to die, and I promise I'll tell you why. First, I need to tell you about the Cowboys' new boss, Curly Bill Brocious.
Herb's coming!
Get ready, boys.
Ну я косой, конечно.
Curly Bill took charge of the Cowboys upon the old man's demise. And after that gunfight at the OK Corral, the Clantons wanted revenge. So they murdered Morgan Earp and grievously wounded his older brother, Virgil.
Да вы надоели,
Wyatt
блин.
and Doc went on what became known as the Vendetta Ride, hunting those outlaws down.
Боже, блин. Ну почему
So
тут так
when I showed
неудобно?
up, that's who they thought I was.
Все вроде. Что за несметные, блин, богатством в виде моего косоглазия. Просто косоглазие называется у человека.
There were killers around every corner, all wearing red bandanas. That's how the Cowboys identified each other, and I was beginning to wish I had one myself. But I wasn't about to let Ringo walk away unscathed.
Ой, ёпта, отвлекся на часик на секунду, в итоге чуть не умер.
They say that Ringo was infernally fast.
hardly saw anyone faster, boy. Certainly not Wyatt Earp. That man was all hat and no cap.
Earp wasn't much of a match for him, but Doc Holliday might have taken him.
That lunger should have kept his nose out of it. They never charged anyone for the murder of Morgan Earp.
But everybody knew that Curly shot him in the back.
Тяжело. Почему мне именно эта игра дается тяжело? В прошлой части как-то
Yeah,
полегче
maybe
были.
so. But Ringo had nothing to do with it. He was just being loyal to a friend.
Is that what you call it? Being loyal. Well, to get to that loyal friend, I had to pass by some buzzsaws as big as a man.
Excuse me, sir. I have a question.
What's that, Dwight?
After old man Clanton died, why didn't his son take over the Cowboys?
Because Ike Clanton was dumber than a box of rocks and a yellow belly to boot.
Да.
Now, where was I?
Taking down the entire cowboy gang single-handed.
Indeed I was, Jack. Though it wasn't easy, as those boys had good cover.
Все? Нет, не все. Да, куча патронов с улетели. Есть новый уровень. Все, почти все одну ветку выучили. Это спец от отдачи плюс скорости, прицельный плюс 2 к магазину. Уи, дорого-богато. Будет. Если, конечно, все так хорошо. Но пока я тут менюшки, можно посмотреть еще 3 чата помимо Твича. Так. На Ютубе шо? На Ютубе все пусто. Никто не писал. На Амулете тоже тихо.
Face me, you coward! In for the kill!
Тихо, 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 тихо.
What are you gonna do?
There were carts everywhere, piles of lumber, and God knows what else for people to hide behind. That really was one hell of a sawmill. Quite an impressive operation.
Пошли, пошли. Вау, вау, пошли. Вперед, вперед.
And where was Curly Bill? Did you see him?
I'm about to get to that, Ben. Patience. I'm painting a picture here. There was this beautiful waterfall and a crystal clear stream that led to a verdant valley that was truly...
Consider your picture painted. What happened next?
Well, finally the bastards that were still alive made a last stand.
Да, понятно, как это дополнительное преследование работает.
Curly Bill, Johnny Ringo, and his compadres took off into the lumber yard, and I followed after.
Лучше я далеко не пойду. А то мало ли.
Are you saying they ran? Cowardice was not in Ringo nor Curly Bill's nature.
No, sir. I never said they were running scared. They just wanted me out in the open.
Time to dance with the devil! Quiet, Herb. Did that son of a bitch, Herb, send you to kill me? Hey, got something for you! Damn!
Сзади, блин, убили.
Help me out here! See what you got! Mistake coming after me! My bottle! Goddamn, he's hard to hit! Kill that! You can't hide forever, boy. Come on, son.
Боже, блин.
You're dead.
Brocious gave me no choice but
А
to
гифки
take his
отправлять нужно,
life.
то я не успел.
But Ringo
Кстати,
was
правда.
nowhere to be
Гифки-то
found.
можно отправлять, но не спамить. И все
I
зависит еще
knew you
какая
didn't kill
гифка.
Ringo, 'cause he was found dead in a different location
И я
altogether.
за чатом не слежу,
To
блин.
this day,
У меня
his killer
чат
is
находится
still
в другой
unknown.
стороне, на телефоне.
Indeed. Took me a few months
Привет,
before I
привет.
finally tracked his ass to West Turkey Creek Canyon.
У меня чат просто находится в телефоне, а я на компе же сижу. Так что вот. Тут и особо и не последишь за чатиком, когда на игре сфокусирован. Тем более у меня 4 чатика, которые надо прочекивать время от времени. Опа.
That's incredible, sir. I always thought that Doc Holliday was the one that killed him.
Успел.
Sorry I had to ruin the legend for you, boy. But the legend ain't always true. Doc Holliday had nothing to do with the death of Johnny Ringo.
Повезло. Честно убито. Ничего не нашел только. Но успел.
I was paid a healthy bounty for Ringo and Curly Bill, and realized there was real money to be made. That's why I went after Henry Plummer.
Либо что?
Now, wasn't he the sheriff who augmented his income by shaking down miners and robbing gold shipments?
That's the one.
Oh, yeah, I remember him. He ran
Если
that
стрим
gang
плохо
of
здесь,
thieving
то можно на
outlaws
YouTube
called
зайти.
the
У меня на YouTube
Innocents.
трансляция идет.
So
На
it's
Твиче
true that you
трансляция
went
идет.
toe-to-toe
На
with him?
Трова идет трансляция.
Indeed
И
I did,
здесь. Привет,
son.
Карим.
Indeed I did.
Скарим для нордов. Типа у меня трансляции идут на 4 платформах. Так что где-то да будет хорошо идти. У меня 4 места для трансляции. Но чат мне приходится открывать каждый свой через время. В основном я сижу на омлетовском чате. Ты вроде бы несколько раз заходил с Кэрри в стрим. Спасибо за подписочку. Ну типа я стримлю тут каждый день, как бы, так что меня в рекомендации рано или поздно будет закидывать. Типа я тут каждый день стримлю. Ой. Разные стримлю стараюсь. Вот бывает на ПК заглядываю. Но на ПК это на ПК. Чаще я сижу на андроиде. И именно на омлете. О, все, можно начать игру. Сейчас я прочекаю все. И начну игру. Да и не прочь. Не прочь, шо. Считай. Все равно нечем заниматься. Все равно тут общаемся. На стримах. Побежали. Название стрима указано. Название. И это самая первая часть из серии данной игры. Всего есть 3 части. И я играю в самую первую. До этого я прошел и 3-ю часть, и 2-ю часть. Типа серию частей. Я начал что-то с конца проходить. И вот сейчас дошел до 1-й части. Минус этой... Ну, не так много, она старенькая такая. Весит около 10 гигов вроде бы там. Может даже поменьше, чем 10. Может 8, 7. Я не помню. Типа, когда я скачивал, я особо не смотрю. Потому что она очень мало весит для игры. Ибо старенькая. Особенно если сравнивать с современными играми, которые весят под 100 гигов. Ну, у нее просто графика приятная. Из-за того, что у нее графика такая, типа, рисованная, она приятно выглядит. Тут, типа, как в комиксном таком виде сделана графика. Под комиксоидность заточена. Поэтому она и кажется новенькой. Из-за того, что у нее так графика выверена. Типа, у нее графика такая более мультяшная. Так что и кажется, что она новее. Блин. Думал, взрывчатка. Ничего себе. Ну ты и наскачивал, конечно, игр. Рейнджер. Новый пистолетик. Ну, походим с рейнджером.
I knew that dynamite wasn't mine, so I decided the polite thing would be to return it. It was the biggest gold rush since Sutter's Mill in '48. Unfortunately, prospectors weren't the only ones drawn to those riches.
Найс. И стрелять по динамитным шашкам в воздухе. Тем временем Battlefield 2042. Стреляйте по гранатам, и они взорвутся в воздухе. И тем временем Кауда, это которая последняя выходила. Vanguard, который стреляет по гранатам, а они не взрываются. Просто кайф. Вот это да. Старенькая игра такое может выдавать. Просто разница. Ладно, пошли. Отсюда. Сейчас главное в голову ничего не получить. И выглядит, блин, как и новенькая игра. Не-не-не, все, я пробегу. Мне надо дальше. Блин, чтобы я еще был метким.
Stone cold killers trained on the bloody fields of Shiloh and Antietam.
Бум.
Bummer had a lot of men on his payroll. A hell of a lot.
Опыт зарабатываем, блин.
That son of a bitch pretended to protect
Батл
the
первую.
public with one
Ну, касочка у меня есть, а вот батл первый нет.
He set up a defensive perimeter, which I had no idea how to breach.
Как заработать опыт? Взрывай все. И будет тебе опыт.
Dangerous, desperate individual. I was outnumbered and in way over my head, but I was too damn stubborn and stupid to realize it. They must have thought I was tough, or had some kind of death wish,
Так.
seeing as there were barrels of
О,
gunpowder everywhere.
амуниция.
One stray bullet, one stray spark, and I'd be blown to hell and gone. Did I have any second thoughts about what I was doing?
Бежим.
I thought I was some kind of hero. I finally made it past and headed on to meet my... But first, I had something I needed to figure out.
Ой, не нравится мне
I
это
had a few
просто.
ideas on how to get into that mine. But once I made my decision, I knew there was no turning back. So my first thought was to enter the nearest mine portal. I saw an entrance. Made sense. It was the quickest way in, but that also made it more dangerous,
А я думаю, мне выбор
as there would
дадут.
undoubtedly be enemy pickets posted along the way.
А я думал, мне выбор уже дадут. Блин, не очень удобно.
Plumber wants that asshole dead.
Мышкой управлять не очень удобно. Не, дробовик мне не надо. Хотя дистанция сейчас, походу, наверное, начнет такие. Вот ты, блин.
Besides, once you enter a mine like that, it's easy to get all turned around. And that confusing maze of corridors wouldn't even be the worst of it. Some of those shafts could be as deep as hell.
I'm ending you.
A single stumble or misstep can easily end in a deadly plunge to oblivion.
Да. Просто куды идти называется. Сейчас мы
Quick
забудем все и
reflexes
все.
often make up for a lack of common sense. Luckily, I was never one to be easily bushwhacked. I would just need to be careful not to blow myself to Kingdom Come.
Kingdom Come.
All that gunpowder and dynamite everywhere, a body has to know what he's shooting at.
Опасно. Куча динамита.
One wrong bullet could have turned that mine into a dad-blasted tomb.
А мне? Я хотел это сделать. Бежим.
Freely admit that my plan of attack was not just
Бежим.
but clearly insane.
Воу. Полеты, блин, называется.
It's a good thing that I abandoned that ridiculous plan before I even tried it. Instead, I spotted a ladder, a way into the mine from the
С
opposite side.
противоположной стороны. А. Вы мне решили изменить планы, да? А я уже думал. Кстати, новый уровень. Револьвер с узором.
It was a long way around, but that approach seemed more sensible at the time. Of course, being I had a problem with heights, that scaffolding scared the bejesus out of me.
Боже, блин.
Climbing down that ladder required some caution. Because even though I had a younger man's reflexes,
Жалкая озвучка, конечно, английская. потому что субтитры особо не почитаешь.
No man can dodge a damn bullet while climbing down a rickety ladder. I needed to make a leap of faith. I was determined not to give up, however. That Sheriff Plummer seemed quite the despicable character. When the vigilantes discovered what the sheriff was up to, people were outraged. That 10,000 they put on his head would go a long way to helping me find a new Bob. And I had made it my mission to settle that score come hell or high water.
You ain't beefing me. How do you like that? You can't hide forever.
Наглядно. Наказали.
But first,
Но
I would
казан.
have to make a choice. Take the elevator or climb the ladder.
Либо лестница, либо лифт. Знаешь, лифт звучит как-то ненадежнее уж по лестнице. Хоть и лестница тоже
I
такой себе
wanted to
вариант.
use the element of surprise. Plus, I figured I could use the exercise. I was warmed up already, so what the hell? Plummer was a mad dog killer, and the people of Nevada City deserved better.
Nevada City? Well, I thought Plummer met his maker in Bannock, Montana.
Right, well, he was the sheriff of both places at one
Боже,
time.
блин.
But that's neither here nor
Что вас
there.
так много?
You must be about out of bullets.
The point was, taking him down would save a lot of lives, including my own.
Куды? А, вниз. А дальше куда? А, все? Let's go. Блин.
They're gonna bury you in a million pieces. This day is just getting worse and worse for you. Ain't it?
Henry Plummer was clearly unhinged, and I could see right away that this was going to take some doing.
Где ты? Ё-моё, вторая волна. Минус бегун. Промазал. О, Генри. Ой-ой-ой-ой. Да ты ж не серьезно, мы же друзья, ты что?
I'm going full medieval on you. They're gonna bury you in a million pieces. Why not just give up and die?
Put that moron out of his misery.
Боже, блин. Куда от вас ныкаться?
Nobody for you today. A million pieces.
So that's how Henry Plummer died. Him and his crew were worth their weight in gold.
Не, поздравляю.
And now,
Ну-ка, вы один,
I
ну-ка,
was
вы один.
officially a bounty hunter.
Лучше выбивай себе эту премку. Премка лучше всего. Ее лучше всего выбить. Если есть премка, значит у тебя
So,
есть
did you
серебро.
finally go after that Bob feller?
Well, I heard word he was in Kansas with John Wesley Hardin. So that's where I went.
Where in Kansas?
Abilene. Why do you ask, Ben?
No reason.
Was Hardin as fast as Ringo?
Ringo was fast, but John Wesley was as fast as the devil himself.
Приветствую, Диас.
Hell,
Juarez.
he killed his first man at 15. From that day forward, he had a price on his head and wouldn't back down for nobody, not even Wild Bill Hickok himself.
Ладно, пока тут это разговаривают, я, наверное, успею чекнуть чатики в других площадках. А то не только же на омлете у меня стрим. Все, нет, не загрузилось еще, ладно. Пам, пам, парам. Быстрый или мертвый? Следующая миссия. Ну давай, что ты такая медленная? Вроде бы старенькая игра, грузится полвека. Нужно играть в бои и зарабатывать бриллианты. 30к бриллиантов, это премка будет тебе дадут тебе обязательно. 30к бриллиантов.
And that night in Abilene was no different.
Так что 30к бриллиантов купить. Их можно за бустеры там. Типа можно бустеры обменивать на эти бриллианты. И серебро. И свободный опыт можно обменять на эти бриллианты. Так что вот. Там событие начался, ивент начался как раз. Связанный с этим. Тихо.
I thought the Texas Rangers got Hardin.
Yeah, that's what they want you to believe. It was cold in a witch's tit and a brass bra that night as I fought my way past his loyal compadres.
Ты же вот так у нас в клане, Сана. Или нет? Но квантом называется вот саб... Ну, короче, на стриме я на танках покажу. Если у нас
The
не в
very
плане.
same saloon we're sitting in today. Look around and
Ибо
imagine this
сейчас я,
place
как видишь,
painted in
немного
blood.
другим занят.
Hardin was waiting for me, and
Что сгущенка случилось? Приветствую тех, кто только присоединился. Что у тебя там опять
I'm
случилось?
jumping the gun here. Let me back up and give you some background on this sumbitch. He deserves that much. Don't you think so, Ben? John Wesley Hardin was a killer. By the end, he confessed to taking the lives of 42 men. He was a bona fide folk hero by then, and had amassed a gang of armed miscreants and other assorted thugs. He and his men set up camp outside of town, and I was hoping Bob was among them.
Shit, it's cold out here.
They didn't ask why I was there. They knew. Most of them were wanted as well. I figured Hardin was here somewhere, but to get to him, I'd have to get past his gun hands. I had to spill a lot of blood to find out Hardin wasn't in that camp. He was carousing in town with his closest friends.
Револьвер с
Hardin's
узором.
boys apparently didn't want me to reach the Bull's Head. Some were hightailing it into town to inform their Hefe of my unwelcomed presence.
Не брось ты со стороны, что зато это покушай. Дала покушать. Они сами вкусно, значит. Значит, вкусно, раз понравилось.
Stop that sumbitch! Let the boys know we got another law dog.
I wondered if Bob was among them. And I steeled myself for the fight ahead. For as good as I was, deep down I wondered if John Wesley wasn't just a little bit
О,
better.
опять мы прошли сюда.
Before I could test my mettle against Hardin, however, I would first need to dispatch his cadre of hired killers. Most of these degenerates were beyond redemption, but John Wesley might have been a different story. I didn't learn until later that that night was in fact his birthday celebration.
Хорошечно. Значит, я еще смогу покушать.
I think I already mentioned that I found Hardin in this very saloon. Suffice it to say, nobody there was happy to see me. In fact, I felt a certain hostility.
Ой.
I was disappointed that neither
Насквозь.
Bob nor John Wesley were among the
Дратути,
dead.
дратути.
But that was short-lived, as a moment later I was facing down the fastest gun in the West.
А может пирог? Ну ты решил уже. Но мама.
I felt a bolt of adrenaline. Or maybe that was fear. He was well known for his tricks, and I knew I'd need my own if I was ever to defeat him. No, wait! You didn't hit me then. I'm sure of it.
Нет, подожди. Не знаю. И то вкусное.
That man was faster than greased lightning. But being inebriated as he was, he didn't count his shots. And now, he was at my mercy.
So he didn't die?
No, I sent him to prison.
Нет, это
Years later,
произошло.
after he was free, some restless Avenger took his life. Shot him in the back in a saloon just like this one. Anybody up for another beer? Ben?
Ну блин, они оба вкусные, считаем. Но блин. Это долго. Лучше что-нибудь одно выбирать. Я тебе скажу.
Thank you, darling. Yeah, some say revenge is a dish best served cold.
So whatever happened to that Bob guy you were after?
Personally, I'd like to hear some of your other adventures. Like, I don't know.
Ну вот видишь, лучше
You ever
что-нибудь
go
одно
toe to
выбрать.
toe with a red man?
Чтоб тебе недолго работать. Танки в 6 часов будут.
Yes, I did, Ben. I remember once I was after this renegade Apache, Grey Wolf. Strangely enough, revenge was also his primary motivation.
Ну почему я? Почему я должен выбирать? Я не могу выбрать что-то одно из этих двух. Особенно, когда я даже ни то, ни другое не смогу покушать. Ибо ты живешь далеко. Привет, привет. Ой, привет, привет. Как я буду участвовать, если я живу за 3-9 земель?
A bounty was put on Grey Wolf's head, and that's how I came to hunt him in the mountains. Mountains so high they
Так.
tickled the nether regions of heaven.
Как? Я живу далеко, я, блин, живу в другой стране.
Grey Wolf was a Chiricahua Apache medicine man who had led a war party in revenge for a massacre against his people. The U.S. Army had attacked his tribe during his daughter's sacred sunrise ceremony, and the slaughter was unspeakable. I understood his anger, as there's nothing more traumatic than seeing those you love die in a cruel and painful death.
Эх. Ну, раз в прошлый раз были кексики, может, давай пирог в этот раз.
Right from the beginning, I couldn't shake the feeling that Grey Wolf was watching my every move. He led a band of young Apache warriors who wanted retribution and were more than willing to die for him.
Ну, в прошлый раз были кексики, значит, в этот раз давай пирог.
They saw me before I saw them. My mind that maybe this wasn't such a good idea. But now that the shooting had started, there was no backing down.
Тишина. Так что я выбрал-то там? Быстрое прицеливание. Ну что, ну и ладно. Что случилось? Опять бы. Я с тобой общаюсь. Куды? Сиди. Не пущу.
I admit to having some regrets about going after them the way I did.
Привет, карма.
But then again, I got a lot of those.
Я молчал. Это ты со мной не разговаривала. Я с тобой пытался как-то разговаривать, а ты молчала. Кто? Я? Не было такого.
Did you find Grey Wolf?
Not at that moment, but I did find the entrance to their hiding.
Ты не маленькая уже. Я тебе это вроде бы говорил. Ты уже взрослая.
A deep crevice that led to a deeper cave.
Don't tell me you're in there.
Yeah, but it's not out of bravery so much as pure, angry cussedness. See, back then, I had a stubborn streak a mile wide, and I wasn't about to back down.
So it was like pitch black in there?
Actually, it was pretty well lit, as they had torches on the wall.
was his cave?
Big as hell, Ben. Chiricahua had hid out there during the Indian Wars. They thought it was haunted with the ghosts of those murdered by the horse soldiers.
The cave was haunted with dead Indian ghosts?
To be honest, I was more concerned with the live ones than the dead ones.
How come you know so much about engines?
A few years back, I was married to two Mescalero women.
At the same time?
Yeah, they were sisters. Polygyny is traditional among the Mescalero.
So what happened?
Oh, I had to get out of there. Those girls never shut up. Both of them nagging at me all the time. Drove me half crazy. Haven't seen them since.
No, I mean, what happened with Grey Wolf?
Не намного уж и младше, я тебе скажу.
Oh, well, I pursued him into the Cave of Death. I came upon this flooded grotto, and that's when I saw him. He came to me unarmed and unafraid. His voice echoed in the shadows. And I sensed he meant me no harm.
You carry great darkness in your heart, and if you do not release it, it will claim your soul.
The sound of his voice put some kind of ancient Indian spell on me. As his story unfolded in my mind,
You will come to this place again and kill many more men, and the darkness will grow until it consumes everything that you are. The soul would have no rainbow if the eye had no tears.
he said I was a great warrior, a coyote man, unequaled by any other pale-faced warrior, or something like that.
The snakes will bite shadows of your past until a venom poisons your heart, and an echo of the song of the dead summons the spirits deep from within the mountains.
I didn't quite get what he was saying, but there was definitely snakes. And indeed, his warriors surrounded me and attacked me like hungry wolverines. They couldn't stop me, though, and Grey Wolf wasn't in the mood for idle talk.
О, новый уровень. Кушать хочу. Иди покушай.
I swear I couldn't
That's
see
gorgeous.
any way out of this trap. But suddenly, one just appeared. Kind of like a miracle. I felt like I would be lost in that damn cave forever. Finally, I found myself back outside, perched on the edge of a precipice, overlooking a thundering white water river.
Блин. Там бабки в Караганде. А чем они тебе мешают?
I chased after him, determined to make him explain the meaning of all that mumbo-jumbo.
Mumbo-jumbo's right. Are you making this all up as you go?
A few details may be fuzzy, brother, but I am relating exactly what happened to me. There were dozens of Apache warriors aiming at me from on high.
Dozens?
Well, maybe not dozens, but there was a lot of them.
At least 3 or 4.
Well, more than that, little lady.
Кто? Кто? Сана, ты что обижаешь девчонку? Не обижай ее.
I had a steep climb up creek ahead of me and scrambled up those rocks like a mountain goat. I was determined to locate Grey Wolf and find out exactly what the hell he was trying to tell me. And wouldn't you know it, that crafty son of a bitch led me right into a trap.
What kind of trap?
Well, son, there had to be at least 100 Apaches surrounding me.
100?
God be my witness.
Oh, come on. Who are you kidding?
Hey, I believe you. Come on, tell us how it ended.
All right, but I'm not gonna drag this
Ну
out.
все, не
Where
плачь.
were we?
You were surrounded by 100 Apache warriors.
Well, I didn't take the time to count them exactly, but there were a lot of them.
Ну хватит плакать. Ну что опять случилось?
And in the end, a path appeared before me that I had not seen before. I followed it as I desperately needed to find out what Grey Wolf was trying to tell me. But it was like that son of a bitch disappeared into thin air.
Все, он растворился в воздухе, да? Ура,
Never did find him,
хорошо.
and never did collect my goddamn bounty.
Фу, любимая награда в голову, винтовка, рабокубита, точно. Все хорошо.
Thank you, darling. It's interesting how the truth can sometimes seem might malleable, depending upon your point of view.
Like how those dime novels make you out to be something you're not?
Jack, don't be starting trouble.
No, he's right. They do tend to exaggerate.
Did they exaggerate your part in taking down the Daltons?
Well, I was there in the flesh, boy, so I saw what happened firsthand.
О, 6-й эпизод. Финал, не?
Those Daltons were lawmen once, before they all went bad, robbing banks and trains clear across the territory. Until Coffeeville, of course. I was one of the citizens who took up arms that day.
Fighting on the side of right.
I did my best, sir. We all did.
Меня зовут Охотником за головами. Ну, сейчас загрузится на этот уровень. И, надеюсь, это финальный. Хотя, что-то быстро тогда. Считай, я сейчас только запустил стрим. И уже финальный уровень. Подозрительно, подозрительно. Все, начинаем.
It was early morning. One of my friends was a local gunsmith, and he handed out firearms to anybody who'd take one. You see, the Daltons got it in their heads to rob 2 banks at the same time. 2 banks on the same damn street. Story was Bob Dalton's girl was always riding him about how he had no ambition. Well, you're nobody next to Jesse James, she'd say. Finally, the bastard took his brothers to Coffeyville just to shut her up. Well, the locals recognized the Daltons right off. Before they could get away, half the town took up arms to defend their property. The brothers paid dearly for their stupidity, but everybody knows they had it coming.
There's more to it than that. I read all about that day, so I know for a fact that it went down very differently. First of all, it was high noon. A posse of U.S. deputy marshals were on the rooftop across the street.
Get ready, boys. They're gonna make a move.
Lawmen had been tracking the Daltons for months. Now they finally had them dead to rights. Among them was a bounty hunter feared by many a lawbreaker. The marshals tried to get the Daltons to surrender.
They'll give up eventually. We just gotta wait to suck the bitches out.
This bounty hunter knew that the brothers were far too proud to ever lay down their guns. He went in there alone to confront those criminals. One of the marshals shouted, "Where are you going? Are you crazy?"
Hey, where do you think you're going, dumbass? That
But
rifle's
he
mine.
paid him no mind. He saw a way to get around to the back of the bank. Then he figured out how to hit the Daltons from a direction they weren't expecting.
Да, у каждого своя версия
A
произошедшего.
moment later, he was climbing up a steep ladder, laughing at danger as he did. It was brave men like him who risked their lives to tame this wild country.
We've got company.
Heroic men like him, who did what other men couldn't or wouldn't to make this country free.
Is that Silas
Jim
Greaves?
Bowie,
Son
Davy
of a
Crockett,
bitch!
who died defending the Alamo.
You rule the day. Over there! That's Silas Greaves. What the hell?
Blam! He came away victorious, taking down those thieving Daltons. His name is Silas Greaves, and when the dust finally settled, he was the last man standing.
Sorry, kid, but that just wasn't the way it happened. It was early evening, not high noon.
Catch him in the crossfire.
The Daltons blew up a safe, and were all set to hightail it out. Those pathetic deputies surrounding the bank were dropping like flies. I'd been tracking those jokers for months, waiting for them to do something reckless.
In for the kill.
And finally, they did. Those stupid bastards decided to rob 2 banks at the same time in the same town where everybody knew them. But they still had friends in Coffeyville.
You
can't get me.
Бум-бум-бум-бум-бум.
Those friends came after me like a pack of wild dogs, tooth and nail. They were coming at me from all directions. I'm in
Ё-моё, откуда, блин? Фиг поймешь, откуда палят. Ладно, попробуем еще раз. Ага, ясно, вперед туда.
I caught sight of the Daltons running with the money and didn't want to lose them. Problem was, they knew the town better than I did. To top it off, I found myself in the middle of another shootout entirely.
Did the Daltons hole up in somebody's house?
No, it was the Smiths, I believe. They were cousins of the Daltons, and they were shooting at the Browns, who were shooting at the Daltons, which wasn't any surprise, because those two families have been feuding forever. And since the Joneses are related to the Browns, they shot at the Smiths, pissing off the Heimhoffers, whose daughter recently married a Smith. Well, bullets were flying every which way as all the old feuds in Kansas caught fire all at once. There was a hell of a lot of pissed off people in Coffeeville like that. But that's just the way life is sometimes. Shit happens. The Dalton boys knew I would never give up. Those Daltons weren't the sharpest knives in the drawer, but they always stood together. They set a trap to slow me down and allow at least two of them to escape. The third brother stayed behind to plant me, just in case that trap of theirs didn't work.
Куди? Сюди? Да. Мы же прошли прошлое.
It was Emmett, the youngest, and he decided to stand his ground and face me down.
I ain't afraid of you, Silas Greaves. This is where it ends for you.
He was determined to protect his brothers. I understood how he felt. Taking me on all by his lonesome wasn't exactly a recipe for a long fight.
Gonna beat you like a red-headed stepchild. With the wrong damn Dalton.
Ау.
I'm gonna cut you in half.
Страннее.
But Emmett Dalton
Nичего
survived
страшного.
the robbery in Coffeeville. He's the only Dalton who did.
They say he was shot 23 times.
Well, Dwight, who do you think put all those damn holes in him? But I have to admit,
Так, ладно, попросили потише сделать. Сейчас сделаем. Давай. Все. Мне нужен звук игры. Точнее, общий звук. Звездные войны или Лего Звездные войны. Понял. Так, чутка потише. Попросили сделать. Так, сойдет? Ну, типа, моего голоса не слышно. Сейчас я через OBS уже стримлю. Нет, я чекаю чат через телефон. И у меня 4 чата, чтобы вы знали. 4. То есть Twitch, Омлет, Трова и YouTube. Так что вот. Мне приходится следить за несколькими чатами одновременно. Поэтому я сейчас в основном только сижу на чате именно омлетовском. А другие чаты я проверяю уже, когда пауза наступает. Потому что на омлете чаще всего можно встретить людей сейчас. Танки в 6. Я вообще на ноуте как бы стримлю. Я коплю себе на ноут, как видишь. Поэтому вот. Я куплю себе ноут и буду стримить уже на своем ноуте, собственном. А то на родительском такой себе. Привет, Егор. Бро.
It took me a couple of days to track the Daltons down.
They can't get away with this!
And in that time, a whole posse of local vigilantes offered to lend a hand.
Можно дальше так. Давай и вот это пока что почнем. Чтобы больше концентрации давали. Да, у меня уже 1К бриллиантов есть.
They seemed as determined as me to find those outlaws. But as we headed into those swamps, it was like I had my own private army. There was no way those boys were getting away this time.
Ну, насчет... Я не только пока стримлю, я стримлю в основном на андроиде, потому что ноут не мой. И я раз в месяц только на ПК-шке могу стримить. Так что в основном это как раз таки у меня андроидные игры какие-либо. Например, танки, Майнкрафт и стендов. Больше пока что нечего стримить на андроиде. А на ПК-шке я редко смотрю сейчас стримеров, я в основном стримлю, а потом отдыхаю. Бывает, смотрю кого-то, но это очень редко.
It was tough to stay on a true course, so we kept an eye out for landmarks.
Майна, да, не будет, потому что ивент в танках. Блин, не заблудиться бы тут.
The maple trees were in full color, red as blood. The rains that year were torrential, so the whole area was flooded. The vigilantes had spread out wide, and pretty soon I couldn't see anybody.
Bury them in the swamp! Plant them where they stand!
Except for some bitches ahead of me wanting to do me harm, so I had to face them alone. I wondered why my compatriots didn't come running when they heard the shots.
Ладно, сюда так сюда.
So did you find the Daltons?
Not yet, but I did have the questionable pleasure of meeting a few of their friends. The boys had established quite a reputation by that time, so they attracted all manner of riffraff to their cause.
Time to fill you full of lead! Brother, I'm gonna make you pay for that!
Боже, попасть не могу. Приветствую, Дэн Майн. Дэв Майн, точнее. Так. А он зашел только это ясно. Василий помнит.
Point being, I was under serious attack. reinforcements was nowhere to be seen.
You ready to fight?
Ну, вообще, я еще во время пары зашел к God Blitz на стрим, он стрим провел. Я ему сказал сначала. Потому что я зашел на парах на стрим. Он как раз таки стримил в тот момент. Что, было скучно, я зашел на стрим. Чуваку.
But luckily, a barn materialized as if right before my eyes. I scrambled up top to get a better view. But just ended up falling inside.
So, how did you get out?
The barn doors was open. About right then, I saw some suspicious characters running for the bushes. Of course, I followed them. But that goddamn swamp was like a
Да шо?
goddamn maze.
Я, блин,
Pretty
сижу
soon I had
на
no
перемене.
goddamn idea where I
Скучно,
was.
играть ни во что. Потому что интернет плохой. Пришлось
Steve?
зайти на...
So I just started walking, and pretty soon. Steve. Steve.
Oh, no, I'm listening.
Indians surrounded me from all sides.
Индейцы. Опять индейцы.
Indians? There were Indians?
No. I just wanted to make sure Steve was paying attention. Now, where was I?
You were following the Daltons through a swamp?
That's right. See, Steve? Dwight's paying attention.
No, I'm listening. I was just resting my eyes.
Не
So,
грусти
where was I?
и не бойся идти.
Right. See,
Приключения
there's a reason so many outlaw gangs are made up of brothers. Being a brother is a very sacred. It's a bond like no other.
Мы все решим однажды. Тебе лишь я верю.
So did you ever find the damn Daltons?
Not yet. But I did find a few of their cousins. You Kansans breed like rabbits. Or Smiths or Heimhoffers or who knows what. But hell, what's more important than family? I bet Ben knows what I'm talking about.
Нормально взорвали.
Bounty hunters!
Stop that, so
Пробираемся.
You gonna need a cannon! Don't let that asshole get away with this! What are you gonna do?
Динамит.
You can't get me!
Есть кто?
You come out and I will! Oh, death is coming, bro! Shoot, I dare you!
Что балинкаешь? Где блины? Блин.
That's it for you.
О, понял.
I knew those Dalton boys were out there somewhere, standing together against anyone who would threaten them.
А может это и не кровь? Откуда ты знаешь, что это кровь?
That's when I saw it. A goddamn steamboat.
A steamboat in a swamp?
Yeah, Steve, but this wasn't much more than a wreck, really.
But how'd a damn steamboat end up in the swamps? Guess it floated off during the flood of '89.
Now, was it a stern wheeler or a side wheeler?
What? Does that really make a difference, Steve? It was a steamboat with a goddamn army on board. It was then that a fusillade of bullets come raining down from on high, and those vigilantes who accompanied me weren't anywhere to be found. But among those men that were shooting at me, I thought I saw some familiar faces. Somewhere up there, the Daltons were waiting on me.
Sounds like you don't give up too easy.
That's the kind of man I am, Ben. I set out to do something. I do it. Surrender just ain't in my nature. Plus, I'm stubborn as hell.
А можно? Ну, ё-моё.
Sorry, son of a bitch.
Кексиков хочешь все же?
Right about then, much to my relief, the vigilantes finally arrived. Their leader motioned at a cabin in the middle of the top deck, pointing me directly at the Daltons. I finally had them, after months of dogged pursuit. But it turned out that they had me.
Take him out! I'm sending you to hell!
The Daltons had played me like a fiddle. Apparently, the vigilantes were on their damn payroll. They didn't just want to shoot me. They wanted to burn me alive. But finding my way out of a burning labyrinth proved to be quite a challenge.
It was a riverboat, right? I mean, it's not like it was a goddamn ocean liner.
Oh, yeah, but I was in a
Did you hear
fight.
about that ship that's gonna launch next year? Largest one in the world.
We're talking about the Titanic. If you ask me, it's too blessed big. I don't think it'll even float.
So anyway,
Don't be stupid, Steve. They know what they're doing. They say that the Titanic is unsinkable.
oh, God.
But getting back to that steamboat, how'd you get off it, Mr. Greaves?
I took in a lot of smoke that day, so I admit my recollection might be a bit hazy. But somehow I managed to finally disembark. It was time to settle this once and for all.
Кошка вырубила, блин. Мне кошка прошлась по компьютеру.
Weren't about to come at me one at a time. They were in this together. Two brothers side by side, determined to take me down. Confident that this time the odds were on their side.
Ах, убили.
They got it wrong. A sad end for those two. If they'd only known that Emmett was still alive despite his wounds. Paroled 14 years later, he moved to California and sold real estate and lived off the legend of that fateful day. And the tragic death of his two brothers.
Да.
My own brothers died tragically as well, truth be told. It was 1868, and me and my older brothers were pulling a tidy profit running cattle into Juarez, Mexico. One night after my brothers retired for the evening, I found a little poker game in a cantina with a couple of cowboys. And I just couldn't lose. I even won an old Spanish coin that had to be 100 years old. Well, I was mighty pleased with myself the next morning as my brothers and I rode for Texas. But before we crossed the border, those cowboys caught up with us. It was Johnny Ringo, Roscoe Bob Bryant, and another asshole named Jim. They wanted their money back and everything else we had, including our lives, as those boys didn't want us coming for them later. Bob put that old Spanish coin in my mouth and said, "I won't have it said that I left you with nothing, boy." Well, those horses bolted, and there we hung as those bastards rode away. The branch finally snapped under the weight of the three of us. But being my older brothers were bigger and heavier, they were already dead. And right then I swore to myself that I would avenge them. Ringo you know about. But Bob eluded me until I heard he was riding with the Wild Bunch.
Ах, ах, а в ответ тишина. Фух, ща начнется опять беготня.
I'd been on their trail for months, ever since they left their hideout in the Bighorn Mountains. Led by Butch Cassidy, they were a loose association of outlaws who robbed banks and trains from Colorado to Montana. Among them was the Sundance Kid, and that murderous hombre I was tracking, Roscoe Bob Bryant.
Were you a part of that giant Pinkerton posse after the Wild Bunch?
No, boy. A circus like that would have slowed me down. Besides, I wanted Bryant all to myself. I'd heard about a large shipment of gold being transported to Wilcox, Wyoming on the Overland Flyer. They blew the bridge with the intention of forcing the train to stop. Well, I assumed the Wild Bunch was likely in the still intact part of the train high above. I was determined to make that sumbitch Bob pay for what he did to my brothers.
Бежим. Динамита подхватили.
My ears are still ringing from blowing up that ridge. What'd you say?
Well, I made my way off unscathed and came upon a few members of the gang and had no choice but to dispatch them. From there, I had to negotiate an even more precarious route. But first, I would need to get my ass out of there.
Это не
I
мост.
jumped from the frying pan into the fire as the train was clearly fixing to fall. I had found the gang, but in order to find old Bob, I needed to fight my way forward past a whole passel of desperados.
Не, лучше рейнджер тогда уж. Ваш скорострел.
Outside, inside, anywhere I could, I made my way towards my prey.
Well, what about the passengers?
It was mostly a freight train, as I recall. There were no passengers aboard that day.
Открыть меню навыков. Ух, новый навык.
Come out, you yellow bastard! Goddamn raw dog!
As I mentioned before, I am not fond of heights. But I was too busy dodging bullets to worry about falling to my death.
Мы тебя поняли.
Odds were I was likely to die that day anyway. So I was determined to take down as many of those bastards as I could. Times it was like shooting ducks in a shooting gallery. The only difference is these damn ducks shot back.
Тут что-то да выжило. Удивлен, удивлен.
I kept hoping the law would show up and give me a hand.
You mean like that giant Pinkerton posse that I read about? Did they come riding in, guns a-blazing to help?
Большой отряд против дикой банды. Найс.
Help? From the Pinkertons? No, son. I had to fight the wild bunch all by my lonesome, as usual.
Who the hell is that? Cut cover! Retreat! Retreat! He's killing everybody! Kill them all!
Секрет найден.
My guess is those dime novels didn't portray this as it happened, did they? Only a few stragglers were left, and I had to cut them down pronto if I was going to stay on old Bob's trail. Once I silenced all those guns, I went searching for my nemesis, determined to finally have my justice. But the only survivor who welcomed me was George Flat-Nose Curry.
Who was he?
The fastest gun in the gang. Right after Sundance, I mean. And Kid Curry, and maybe Elsie Lay. Though some folks might dispute that. On that very same day, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid decided to leave the Wild Bunch behind and decamped for South America. They ended up living down there for many years, but I'm sure you already know all about that.
Тишина на стриме. Нет, не верю я в призраков. танки еще рано, я говорю, в 6 будет стрим. 6. Постоянно нажать кнопки Enter до окончания загрузки уровня считалось бесчестным поступком, блин, нормально. Я же говорил, танки будут в 6
I tried to
вечера.
find Bob Bryant, but it was as if he'd disappeared. Sometime later, I heard the Wild Bunch was back together. Kid Curry escaped from jail, and now he was running the whole shebang. So I took to their trail, as I was still in pursuit of my brother's killer and hoped that he was back with him.
Стрельба. Мощно настроение. Давление часов. Концентрация достаточно, чтобы подготовиться к схватке. Ваши активные оружия будет начать перезаряжаться каждый раз, когда вы входите в концентрацию. И тут урон. Сегодня танки будут в 6. Не знаю, наверное, будут пистолеты. Пистолет, наверное, пока что буду потом качать по опыту. О, хороший. Так, стоп. Что я там? Шок с всему его. Скорость стрельбы и к скорости прицеливания быстрее. Все, побежали. А у этого что здесь? Отдача, скорость прицеливания плюс 2 к магазину. Понял.
That kid Curry's kinda crazy, ain't he?
Anyways, I tracked those boys to a camp right outside Parachute, Colorado. Being outnumbered, I didn't bother with a warning shot. I just started taking those bastards down. Old Bob wasn't among them, and neither was Kid Curry. I could sense him close by, however, plotting something nasty. I just needed a clue as to their whereabouts.
Вот, револьвер с узором, то, что надо. Тихо. Майна нет, не будет сегодня.
And I found one. A map with their bold plan clearly marked. This time they were fixing to blow up a train trestle. Property of the Union Pacific.
Майн будет завтра. Здорово,
The
здорово,
plan
Денис.
clearly indicated how they were fixing to undermine several of the weakest wooden supports. Kid Curry was considered the wildest of the Wild Bunch. It
Такое
was
я
said
не
that he
делаю.
fathered 85 bastard children. though
Такого
some
я
say it
не
was only
делаю.
5. Kid Curry had bragged to a whore how he was gonna rob a train heading to the U.S. Mint in Denver. And that whore, Fat Sally, she told me. The bridge was rigged with dynamite, so I decided I'd best be careful confronting those bastards. A moment later, I saw a ladder that somehow had escaped my attention.
Да.
Don't you blow us up now.
Don't worry, I know what I'm doing.
But the Wild Bunch did not take kindly to my presence and attempted to blow my head off. It appeared the kid had found a number of new recruits to bolster their ranks. Guess there's always desperate men willing to trade their lives for stolen treasure.
What happened next?
Well, having removed the first bundle of dynamite, I decided I might as well remove the other one. Once that was done, I figured I'd find my way from there.
So, what happened then?
Had to remove more of that damn dynamite.
Динамит, динамит.
It must have been terrifying trying to make your way across.
I was sweating it a bit, but then I noticed a footbridge tied up on high, so I shot the rope.
ПП? А, дробовик опять. У-у-у. А падать-то высоко. Так, спускаемся. Так, сейчас. Чекнем чат. В чате у нас тишина. На ютубе. На Трова надо чекнуть. На Твиче тишина, на Млете тишина, на Трова надо чекнуть. А то я давно не ходил по чатикам. Ну тоже нулевка. Точно такая же тишина. А не, была сгущенка. Да всплыла. А на ютубе... она еще не была. На Омлете, значит, будем сидеть дальше. Все. Продолжаем. Неудобно, конечно, ну ладно.
So that was all the dynamite?
Funny you should mention that, darling. As actually there was a fourth charge impeding my progress. Once I removed it, my path was pretty clear.
Было относительно...
So I proceeded onward. I realized that that way just wasn't gonna work. I needed an alternate path forward.
Опа. Перепрыгнули.
Luckily, I found a cave, and as I made my way back to the bridge, I saw something that concerned me.
Пещеру в скале. А, ну да, пещера в
It
скале.
was a long burning fuse, and it was moving fast as hell. I had to catch it. The burning fuse was so damn quick, I had to run like the wind. I almost had it, but no. Thought I was gonna have a coronary when I lost sight of those sparks.
И я упав.
Get off the bridge!
I knew that failure meant boom. Then, finally, at the last moment. Whew. Of course, I was successful, or clearly I wouldn't be talking to you folks here today. Naturally, I removed the last dynamite charge. Well, it was a touching reunion. But by this time, I was thoroughly exhausted and dragging my ass, as I was not a young man anymore.
50 лет постарел, говоришь, да?
Kill that SOB! Make him bleed!
Finally, I found those boys. Or more precisely, they found me.
Kid Curry asked me!
Not even a damn fruit!
Да. Все, выжат.
Tracer and Kid Curry asked me!
Not even a damn fruit cake!
Done with you. Just when I thought things couldn't get worse, Kid Curry opened up on me with a goddamn Gatling gun. It was hidden in this tunnel and pretty well shielded.
Киткари, блин. Пулемет Гатлинга, серьезно. Уи.
Luckily, I had located some dynamite. I still, however, had my work cut out for me.
Stupid contraption! Mistake you'll ever make! Time for you to lay down and die! Are you kidding me? God damn it, I need some help here! Come on, boys! Let's get some of this down! Hey, sounds like a hell yeah!
tunnel down. And that's when I met Kid Curry himself. He had decided to stop pussyfooting around and deal with me personally.
Лично с тобой разобраться захотел. Ух. Остросюжетная. Не-не-не, куда. Double kill.
Fast as he was, I was just a bit faster.
Я всего лишь малость быстрее, да?
And as he lay wounded, I demanded to know the whereabouts of Roscoe Bob Bryant. He shouted at me. Is that what this is about? Bob went with Butch and Sundance to South America. You ain't never finding him.
В лицо.
Those were his last words.
So, Bob Bryant got away?
I knew I'd never find him in South America.
What about the other killer?
Yeah, you kind of glossed over that one.
Well, I found Jim not long after my showdown with Ringo. At the time, he was riding with the James Younger gang. Did I neglect to mention that?
Jesse James? The greatest outlaw who ever lived?
Jesse and his kin rode with Quantrill when he raided Lawrence, Kansas, and killed near 200 people, boy.
Nothing great about that.
And from there, him and his brother went on to rob banks and trains from Kansas to Missouri.
Which is why there was such a rich bounty on their heads. 40 grand for both of them, dead or alive. That's one hell of a payday.
Да. Понимаю.
I confronted them as they were robbing a train. Bullets were flying at me from every which way. But I knew I'd have to fight my way forward if I was gonna find this Jim.
You ain't seen the thing. You know who we are?
Трех в броне, блин. Не спасла тебя твоя броня. Да, все.
No, Now, wait a second. How'd they stop this train in the first place?
Well, the James boys were experts at this. They hopped a freight train having heard there was a big payroll in the express safe. So, I hopped the same train.
Тихо.
The James Younger gang was decimated after that little fiasco they had in Northfield, Minnesota. So Jesse needed more men and took on the killer I was after, along with a host of others. I was hoping to find my man and put a bullet in his head.
Не, обрезанную мне не надо. Не с моей золотой, хорошо.
Climbing around that train, I must have swallowed 100 damn bugs before I reached
The James Younger gang pulled the first train robbery west of the Mississippi.
Sounds like you hold them in high regard.
Everyone knows they were the most famous outlaw gang ever.
And you took them all on by your lonesome. Again. I'm finding this all a little hard to swallow.
Well, maybe you need to wash it down with some whiskey. By the way, did I mention that that train was flying down those tracks like a bat out of hell?
Нет, убыли.
Those are my friends you killed. Come and get me! God damn you! Get out!
Динамит убьет всех. Даже тех, кто встречается.
Anyway, excuse me, Ben. Where would I find the gentleman's facilities? Suddenly I have an urgent need to drain my one-eyed snake. Well, I've had more than a few drinks, and I've been sitting here for quite a spell.
Right through there. Let me show you. I never heard so much malarkey in my life.
You think he's bullshitting us?
You don't think he's Silas Greaves?
I think he's just some old drunk looking for some free
Выдают, которые
liquor.
бесплатно выпейте.
I don't know, Jack. I think I believe him. You don't think he met Jesse
Boy,
James?
you gotta be kidding me. That story makes no sense at all.
Jack.
I mean, you gotta be 2 bricks short of a load to believe that cock and bull story.
I don't agree.
Jack, lay off the
But
boy.
you seriously think that tired old man went toe-to-toe with Jesse James?
Well, that's better. Did I mention that this Jim was married to the infamous Belle Starr? Of course, I didn't learn that until later. Anyway, I made my way forward the best I could. Around the sides, over the roof. At some point, some sumbitch saw me and shouted out, "It's the damn Pinkertons!"
Damn Pinkerton!
Откуда вас? А сейчас-то что меня убило?
It was a rickety ride and quite precarious. Now, I never worked for that limey cocksucker, but I guess they assumed I was one of his assassins. Those evil bastards firebombed Jesse's mother's house and killed his stepbrother. So it's no wonder each and every asshole on that train wanted me dead.
Everybody's always mistaking you for somebody else, aren't they? Why is that, I wonder?
Don't rightly know, Jack. I'm just telling you how I remember it.
I bet you are.
With us! Just killed, man! Kill that missile!
Ёпарасоте. Ё-моё.
It was definitely safer on the inside of the train.
You don't want to mess with us! Kill that missile! You know who we are!
You can run, but you can't hide forever.
Опять меня хотели убить. И куды? Не ясно, непонятно. Неправильно. Чего? Ясно, понятно.
You can't fight James, gang!
I came across a flat car piled high with logs and had to come up with a creative way to make my way forward.
Что это? Игра это. Ангел. Сейчас будет скоро танки уже.
Get out here!
Тихо.
This asshole don't know who he's up against. Come and get me, you got the guts.
Ну это не колда. Это не колда, я тебе скажу. У нее другое название, если ты читал название стрима.
I wondered if I was ever gonna find the front of that train, or the bastard I was after. Right about then, I was attacked by some asshole on a Gatling gun.
Yeah, seems like you run into a lot of them.
Asshole?
Gatling guns.
Опять бронированный
Yes, I did.
пулемет.
Now, I don't remember how I took it out. It was either a bullet or dynamite.
Where would you find dynamite?
Does it really matter, Jack? You're messing with the flow of the story here.
Поздравляю. А я буду копить на танк ивента. Ну ё-моё. Сложно. Да, почти. Чертов Гатлинг. Теперь моя очередь посидеть здесь. Теперь моя очередь. Ну ё-моё. Враги кончились. Ауч.
I was looking for Jim and shooting any son of a bitch stupid enough to get in my way. And that included Jesse James himself.
Дурацкий стрелок в броне.
There sure were a lot of men determined to die that day. It was then that Jesse detached the express car from the rest of the damn train. I could see Jesse waiting for me, fixing to kill me so he could get away with all that money.
You had a showdown with Jesse James?
Of course he didn't. Everybody knows that Jesse was killed by Bob Ford.
Yeah. Jesse went out like John Wesley Hardin. Coward shot him in the back of the head.
Guess it doesn't matter how far you run, does it, Ben? Your past always catches up with you. Yeah, I didn't kill Jesse James. Just wounded him bad enough to convince him to hang up his guns.
What about that Jim fella? What happened to him?
I figure he was up front with a gun to the engineer's head. That bastard slipped away again. I'll tell you how I got him. But first I need to wet my whistle.
Верно выстрел. Честно убитого. Ух. Фух. Ё-моё, можно сейчас это почекать чатики. А то здесь-то я мультистримингом делаю все. Не только на омлете. Ну, в других молчат, тут все вижу. Никто не заходил, никого не было, так что все нормально. Все на мул. И тут тоже 0 зрителей. И никто, наверное, не писал, кроме сгущенки, да. Все, возвращаемся на омлет и начинаем идти дальше. Но это из-за того, что это... Именно по компьютерные игры на омлете не востребованы. Это ж ПК игра, так что никто смотреть не будет. Всем интересны либо танки, либо Майнкрафт, либо сцены.
What mountains would that be?
Somewhere in the Ozarks, I believe. A perfect place to hide out from the authorities. In fact, before I could find them, some Indians who fled the Reds and were hiding out from the military found me first. They probably thought I was a cavalry scout and didn't want me telling the military where they were.
Indians?
Yeah, they could have been Cheyenne, but there was all sorts of renegades roaming the landscape back then.
Вы меня убить захотели, блин.
Hey, how about another whiskey, Ben? Nothing better to soothe the troubled soul. Now, where was I? Indians, right. I had more than my share of run-ins with them. Like that time. Did I tell you about Grey Wolf?
Yes, sir. You did.
Of course I did. In fact, I can still remember that old medicine man's words to me.
Jesus Christ, we're back to that again.
You carry great darkness in your heart. It will claim your soul. You will come to this place again and kill many more men, and the darkness will grow until it consumes everything you are.
So, did you ever find him?
Who?
The man you are after.
Let me ask you something, Ben. You ever think about death?
Более не уходить с своего убийства так быстро, ваш шеф. О! Патронтаж увеличим.
Mr. Greaves, are you all right?
Oh, death. Oh, death. Won't you spare me over till another year? What is this that I can't see with ice cold hands taking hold of me? Well, I am death, none can excel. I'll open the door to heaven or hell. Oh, death, someone would pray. Could you wait to call me another day? Oh, death. Oh, death, won't you spare me over till another year?
So, are you gonna answer the question?
What question is that?
Jim Reed. Did you ever find him?
Reed was indeed that son bitch's surname. That's right, Ben. A despicable character. I remember him laughing like a hyena that cold morning they lynched me and my brothers. He was intent on avoiding my vengeance, but nothing was gonna stop me. Nothing.
Ничего, ничего.
I finally did track those outlaws down. They had long rifles with scopes and were well positioned to pick off any poor soul who came anywhere close.
Ау.
I'm guessing Frank James believed I was responsible for the demise of his brother Jesse. I
Ё-моё.
couldn't really disagree with the man, as I
Ouch.
thought Jesse was dead then as well. He backed off as I closed in on him, but he was still intent on killing me.
Дратути, дратути. Меня чуть не пробили. Подожду, пока навык перезарядится. Все, побежали.
And when I closed in on him again, he backed off again, looking for a better angle on me.
Ай-яй-яй-яй. Приветствую, приветствую.
I can't fault Frank for wanting his revenge, as I was there for the same damn reason myself. At this point, I'm guessing you think Silas Greaves is a worse murderer than Jim Reed ever was.
No, sir.
A man who spent half his life killing somebody's brothers, fathers, sons.
I think you were just looking for justice, sir.
Is that what I was looking for, Dwight? Is that what it was? Justice?
Isn't that why you were hunting the James gang?
The James gang. Right. I finally found Frank holed up in his mountain cabin, and he was determined to have me dead. It was a pitched battle that could have gone either way. Luckily, I had some dynamite in my possession.
Dynamite. On your person.
A few sticks, just in case. It's always good to be prepared.
Right.
I'm just laying out the facts as I remember them, Jack.
Я новый танк получу, поздравляю.
That old shack? Well, it went tumbling right off that cliff.
With Frank James still in it?
Yes, sir.
But Frank James is still alive, living in Missouri, showing folks around the family farm for 25 cents a tour.
I didn't say he died in the fall, now did I?
I'm done with this damnable outlaw life. Kill me, don't kill me, do what you will. At this point, I just don't give a shit.
I explained to Frank that I had nothing against him personally and that I was looking for someone else.
You want Reed? Have at him. I never did like that bastard. I am done here.
We parted in peace as Frank pointed out the path to my prey before making his way back down the hill.
So what happened with Reed?
Well, I finally found the last of the gang hiding in a nearby cave. First, I had to dispatch the lookouts. But I was determined not to let that murderer escape my revenge again. But rather than wander in willy-nilly, I decided it would be better to smoke that sumbitch out. Hey, Reed! I shouted. No wonder you're so ornery. Can't be easy being married to Belle Starr. While you're off providing for the family, she's spreading her legs for every Tom, Dick, and Cole Younger. Not an attractive woman exactly, but at least she was to me.
Son of a bitch!
It was then that the last bunch of bandits jumped out of hiding.
Why won't this asshole give up? Would someone please kill him?
Ау.
Eventually, it was just me and Reed.
Это... Вообще, эта игра уже первая самая часть. Самая первая часть данной серии игр. Вторая узы крови и третья картель.
Repay him I did. Well, I don't know about you boys, but I'm pretty beat.
Well, it's too damn bad you never found that Bob character. Seems a shame he never had to pay.
Well, funny thing about that, I did have one more chance at him. Six months ago, I heard that Butch and Sundance were back in the States and had gathered up some of their old gang. I tracked them down, hoping that Roscoe Bob Bryant had returned with them.
So you're saying they didn't die down in Bolivia?
That's what I'm saying.
Танки только в 6 вечера. До танков еще рано.
"40 years I had waited to get my hands on the last of my brother's killers. Not even an army of demons could have stopped me now. Both Johnny Ringo and Jim Reed fell fairly quickly, but the last one, Roscoe Bob Bryant, that son of a bitch had managed to escape my vengeance time and time again. I couldn't even be certain I'd recognize him after all those years. By now, he had to be close to 70.
For all you know, he could have been dead.
That thought had indeed crossed my mind, as did others. For instance, did my thirst for vengeance turn me into something worse than the man I was after? By this point in my storied career, I had killed more men than Bob Bryant ever had. I was furious as hell at that bastard for making me who I am. Nothing could stop me from taking his life. I'd been after that killer forever. From the time I rode with Billy the Kid. But that chapter of my story you already know.
Chapter of that fairy tale, you mean?
Suddenly it was 1910. There I was, an old man roaming a ghost town dead almost 2 decades. The town was falling apart. Just like me.
Новый уровень.
But I wasn't about to call it quits. Even though the ghosts of my dead brothers were begging me to end what I started so long ago.
Mr. Graves, are you all right?
Британский.
Would you like some water?
The Wild Bunch knew I was there. They were after a treasure they had hidden before they fled, buried in the grave of a dead amigo. Some folks think the town is haunted, so they figured there wouldn't be many people poking around. I intended to fill that grave with Bob Bryant's corpse.
Au, umер.
You obviously prevailed since you're sitting here telling us the tale.
Actually, in that moment, I did not prevail.
So I suppose we're talking to a ghost.
Funny you should put it like that, Jack. Because when I woke up...
From the dead?
There was silence all around me. I could swear to God I saw Billy then.
Billy who?
Billy, the kid. William Bonney. He was shooting at me from a rooftop. Here, there, even over there.
So I am right. You are titched in the head.
Mr. Greaves, perhaps we should switch you to coffee?
You see that old Indian again, too?
No, but I did see Billy's killer. Patrick Floyd Garrett. He came at me guns a-blazing. But I knew that old war horse had died 2 years before. I wondered if maybe I was dead too and confronting the ghosts of my past. Perhaps all my sins were coming back to haunt me and drag me down to perdition. I saw Henry Plummer throw dynamite at me.
Боже, блин.
In the gates of the cemetery, I saw John Wesley Harding, just like I remember him. Robert Ollinger appeared with his terrible double-barrel shotgun. But no ghost army was stopping me.
My father-in-law got hit with a fallen branch. He spent the rest of his life talking to dogs.
Newman Hayes Clanton, William Brocious, John Peters Ringo, they all wanted me dead. The Dalton brothers, Robert and Grattan, guardians of the Garden of the Dead. George Curry and Harvey Logan, alias Kid Curry, both thirsty for vengeance from the great beyond. Jesse, Woodson, James, and Jim Reed. Each one deader than the next. Oh, I thought I would go crazy.
Thought?
Вот ёпарасоте.
Finally, I saw Harry Alonzo Longbottom.
The Sundance Kid?
Like a general leading his legion of the dead.
You told us before that you'd seen him alive.
He was alive.
Боже, блин.
Then I heard a voice call to me from afar. It was Robert Leroy
Ёпарасоте.
Parker, a.k.a. Butch Cassidy, coming at me from out of the fog.
Thanks for taking care of that bastard.
Хороший, плохой и мертвый.
But the kid wasn't quite deceased. Not yet.
Takes more than one little bullet to kill the likes of me, partner.
Those two looked like they hadn't seen each other for quite a while. Clearly, they were no longer amigos.
Shit. I was hoping I wouldn't have to kill you. You won't have to, Butch. I'm killing you first.
I asked them about Bob Bryant, but they were too busy with their own heated conversation.
Let me get this shit straight. You want my money and the love of my life?
You frittered it all away, Butch. Eda's mine. And so is that damn money.
I didn't want to shoot anybody until I had an answer to my question, but those boys didn't give me much of a choice.
Боже, что так сложно, блин? Вот он на меня смотрит, да? Теперь он. Да ёпарасты. Нет, я почти у финала. Это я чую, блин.
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid died there in that cemetery not 6 months ago.
Парсоты мы получили опыт, да. Пивок.
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid were killed by the Bolivian army. Everybody knows that.
That's the legend, but it ain't the truth.
So, you never found Bob?
There is no Bob. This old sumbitch ain't even Silas Greaves.
Sir, is that true? Have you been pulling our legs this whole time?
Well, not the whole time.
Oh man, I think you've worn out your welcome here.
Maybe you're right, Jack. Maybe it's time to pay. You see, Ben, or should I say Bob, your past always catches up with you.
I was a different man back then, crazy. Drinking, I've changed my ways, I swear to you. If I could turn back the clock,
But you can't, Bob.
Итак, что же выбираем? Прощение или месть? Ну вообще, предупреждение давал, то что я утону в собственном яде, если буду уничтожать. У меня нету, кстати, ацтеков. Да. Кстати, ацтеков. Пока не сами разберутся, кто останется уже с ними разобраться. Ну, теперь выбирать концовку. Самое главное. Выбрать свой конец. Ой. Тут никого ничего не говорит. Прощение али месть. Вообще, можно попытаться все концовки посмотреть, но я не уверен, что это возможно. Три зрителя на стриме. В Твиче. Нежданчик. Не знаю, что выбирать. Оставлю на выбор зрителям. Если, конечно, такие будут желающие. Прощение выбирать. Тебя не было на большей части стрима, ты даже не знаешь, что было тут по сюжету. И от тебя это неожиданно слышать. Финик. Мне кажется, ты бы выбрал все время что-нибудь плохое, например, убийство как раз таки. Уже 2 зрителя. Месть это плохо? Он уже 2 убил по мести. Он уже 2 убил за месть. За то, чтобы отомстить за своих братьев. И сам я такой плохой. Неправда. Да, их 3 одновременно повесили. Ну, только он как раз таки выжил. Из-за того, что был легче своих братьев. Как он сам говорил. Прощение выбирать? Ну ладно.
Why'd you toy with me like that? Telling those tales, knowing all along. Why not just lay your cards on the table?
Wanted to suss you out, Bob. See what kind of man you turned out to be. Maybe prod you into drawing on me. See, all those years on your trail turned me into a killer. Can't even remember who I was before you tried to murder me. You, on the other hand, walked that very same path in exactly the opposite direction.
What do you mean by that?
You think your life is worth sparing, Bob? Boy, what's your name again?
It's Eisenhower, sir. Dwight Eisenhower.
What do you plan to do with your life, Dwight Eisenhower?
Tomorrow I'll be leaving for West Point, sir.
So, you want to be a soldier? Well, then do it right, son. Don't tear down the world out of anger and spite like I did. You build it up. You do something decent with your life. You hear me?
Sir? Yes, sir.
I won't have it said I left you with nothing, Bob.
Самый быстрый град по прохождению, я ее быстрее всех прошел. На прошлую у меня ушло 2 трансляции. На эту у меня ушло всего 1 трансляция, короткая больно. На эту у меня всего лишь ушла 1 трансляция. Нежданчик такой. Значит, можно найти и 4-ю часть. Вас понял. Шо ты? Стендов сегодня не будет. Сегодня танки. Стендов уже был, тем более. Он был как раз таки, получается, вчера. Шучу, позавчера. Сегодня стендофа нет. Пропустил про ацтеков. Я прошел картель, узы брата, ну узы крови. Узы крови. И вот эту. Просто мне выдавало все время в интернете, когда я вводил про серию игр, только 3 части выдавало. Я начал с картеля, потом узы крови, и вот как раз таки вот эту запустил. Я почему-то думал, что их только 3. Типа все, больше мне об этой я больше и не знал. Как бы что есть еще 4-я. У меня у самого только 2 диска лежит дома с узы крови и картелем. А об этом я узнал из интернета. Так что, возможно, я пропустил 1-ю. Но ее прохождение, походу, у меня затянется, потому что компьютер не мой, а отец уже приезжает скоро. Уже в понедельник вроде как. 2006 года? Да ничего, я проходил Far Cry 1 2004 года. Я там так настрадался. Я проклинал себя из-за этого, потому что ненавижу кошмарики. А меня эти монстры, блин, пугали до чертиков. Потому что она старая, не страшно, считай. Еще я Crysis 2007 проходил. Но в итоге в финале у меня просто миссия забаговалась, и игра вылетала, не давая мне даже сохранение загрузить. Просто кайф. В итоге не смог пройти ее. Самое обидное, что может быть, это если ты не сможешь пройти игру до конца. Нет, не буду включать чат экрана, чат стрима. Мне хватило одного бана и одного лишения аккаунта на ютубе. Бана в твиче и лишение аккаунта на ютубе. Я уже 1 раз потерял аккаунт, больше я так не буду делать. Мне хватило. Из-за людей, которые в чатик могут зайти и кинуть гифку 18+. Как раз таки вам, блять, такие есть. Из-за них я и потерял аккаунт. Да уж. Нужно будет все же по-хорошему завершить это. Квадрологию. Как там называется, если 4 части в игры? Сейчас посмотрим. Интересно. Просто... Триквел, я считаю, вот прошел. When a drought comes in justice, bullets make good rain. When the heartache has dried up, only blood heals the pain. There's a time for grieving and a time to just pray. There's a time for forgiving, but it's not for today. You can hide sins from the gavel, you can drown them in rum. When silence grease finds you, there's nowhere to run. And time goes too slowly for the gunslinger's eye. Квадрология, правильно? Ясно. Ну, как раз таки упустил 1-ю часть из виду, значит. Я даже в свое время... У меня, блин, целый ящик с дисками по играм. Там очень много всего есть. И как раз таки мне попались эти 2 части, получается, за картель и узы крови вот эти попались мне. За 100 рублей продавали. Я их взял, скачал и прошел. Обе части. Но почему-то у меня именно узы крови очень сильно забылись, у меня запылились в памяти. Я не помню финал от слова совсем. Типа я помню, что я начал проходить и прошел, это я помню. Но я финал вообще не помню, в отличие от картеля, где я что-то допомнил. Самое странное такое. В итоге самородков истории осталось очень мало. Которых я собрал очень мало. Блин. Выражаюсь уже не прям великий. Сколько я вообще нашел? 11 штук из 54. Танки будут, танки финик. Там ивент как раз на танк премиум, так что танки будут. О. Ну я хоть справился. Что у меня есть? А, точно, я же это не покупал игру, а скачивал пиратку. Какие достижения? Новая история, аркадка, дуэльки. Ну, история это, конечно, новая игра плюс. Неа. Воспоминания, что есть? А, это посмотреть все заново. Подгрузиться. Можем посмотреть как раз таки концовку плохую. Но я это не буду делать. Судя почему, потому что я предположу, что она плохая из этого предсказания дурацкого. От индейцев. Ладно, не буду говорить. Качай новую часть. Не могу. В выходные я не могу стримить. Возможно, не смогу. Посмотрим, может смогу в субботу постримить. Если она будет короткая, то я смогу ее за один стрим пройти. Именно первую часть. Ну, короче, решится все завтра. Смогу, не смогу, все решится завтра. Если не смогу, то будет, как всегда, просто стримы на омлете, потому что омлет плюс у меня нет, чтобы стримить на Twitch еще и YouTube. А тут мультистриминг в ВБС устроен у меня. Да. Ну ладно, пойду уже отдыхать как раз таки. Пора уже. А то засиделся. Буду готовиться к танковому прохождению. Ой, пойду посижу, почитаю что-нибудь. Кошак, ты куда идешь? Сиди. Сиди там. Ты мне тут не нужна, по компу будешь бегать опять. Что ж,